13th accused person is just a business name owned by first and second accused persons. This will be the sentence for the accused persons. For that offense, for that particular count, first accused person, a fine of 500 shillings in default. You serve 12 years. You serve 12 months imprisonment. For the second accused person, Susan Wangarindo, I'll sentence you to a fine of 500 in default, 1 year imprisonment. And I think that's the only sentence that you'll carry. So you can sit down. You can sit down, Governor. You have finished with your sentences. I don't think you're affected by the rest. Okay. Yes. 500,000, and that's the only sentence for Susan. Yes, that's the only sentence that she'll carry. Now, because there are no other counts that affects her, and I've not sentenced the partnership separately, and I think that one also give you some bit of reprieve. You organize yourself. Now, count 5 against Engineer Luka Wainyamwangi, convicted of abuse of office, contrary to provision of section 46 as directed 48 of Anti-Corruption Economic Crimes Act number 3 of 2003 for improperly awarding the tender. The value of the tender is 588,198, 328 and 20 cents. I've looked at the circumstances under which the offense was committed and the role that you played. And I've tried to moderate the sentence as much as I can, JM, because you can see the figure. If we blindly go to the benefits, the figure is quite colossal. But all said and done. Under provision section 48.1, the first limb of ASECA, you shall pay a fine of 1 million in default 2 years imprisonment. Under section 48.1, B, as read with section 48.2, A of ASECA, the second limb. You shall pay a mandatory fine in the sum of 20 million. In default, you serve 5 years imprisonment. So I repeat, for the first limb, you pay 1 million. In default, 2 years imprisonment. Under the mandatory fine, I've told you the contract sum, and I think this is the warning that I'm giving to the professionals who are dealing with the professional duties. 20 million. In default, you serve 5 years imprisonment. And I think that's the only sentence you have. So in total, you are paying 21 million. You can sit down, engineer. Charles Chege Mbudia, Beth Wangeshi Mboro. And Testimony Enterprises Limited. You are convicted of engaging in fraudulent practice in the procurement, contrary to provision section 66.1 as read with section 177 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act of 2015. Your sentence will run as follows. For Charles Chege, the main director and majority shareholder of Testimony Enterprises Limited, your sentence is a fine of 500,000, in default 12 months imprisonment. Beth, your sentence is reduced to a fine of 200,000, in default you serve 12 months imprisonment. Count H against Chege, Beth, and testimony. The price is limited. Convict of engaged in a fraudulent practice in procurement, contrary to provision of section 66(1), as read with section 177 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. Those are the ones that deal with the forgeries of the documents. For Mr. Chege, being the main director and majority shareholder of testimony, you pay a sum of 500,000 in default, 12 months imprisonment. I'm not sentencing the company. Beth, you are sentenced on behalf of the company to pay a fine of 200,000 in default, 12 months imprisonment. Again, I've factored in your roles. Count number 9 against Chege, Beth, and testimony. And again, Mr. Counsel Swaka, I've really weighed on it and looked at the law as well as what is at stake. And from the arguments that I think it's Counsel Njenga who brought in about probably some road here and there could have been constructed. But I think we'd rather not do that which we are not qualified to do. But I've tried my best, and this is the sentence. For the fourth accused person, Mr. Charles Chege Mbudia, you are the main director and shareholder of Testimony Enterprise Limited, and if anything, I think you are one person who bore the responsibility. You would have made things better if you had the qualifications. And the unfortunate thing, you are the one who brought yourself in these things. So this is the sentence for the first limb under 41 of ASECA. A fine of 1 million in default, 2 years imprisonment. Under section 48, 1B, as read with 48, 2A. I'm not proceeding under 48, 2B, which is even more punitive. Because of that aspect, probably you might have used the resource to do that. I'll sentence you to pay the mandatory fine of 294,548,110. That sum is well calculated and equal to 2 times the benefit that you derive from that county. And I think that the last sentence on you can sit down for Beth. Beth, I really weighed on your issue, and I'll now tell you, at times you'd rather walk away, isn't it? Check it, than do things. Don't be in companies you don't know what is happening. So I've weighed your issue. Much as Chege took the responsibility, and I also see him as a gentleman on that, I'll only sentence you under 48(1) of ASECA. You pay a fine of 1 million in default, 12 months imprisonment, and that also gives a reprieve to the family to see your way forward. Now, can sit down. Just a moment. Yes. Is there any clarification you need, Council Monda? I'm still proceeding. Yes.
I just wanted to just clarification.
Yes. Yes.
You did share the default sentence.
The default sentence for Mr. Chege.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Chege, your default sentence would be 7 years under the mandatory fine. So if you don't raise that, or you have, in other words, you have got 7 years, you can still raise it and come out and you see what you can be able to do. Now, still on the sentence. The final bit of the sentence concern the provision of section 64 of ASECA. And it is my all in that provision shall apply to each of the accused person. It's the law. Section 64 states a person who is convicted of corruption or economic crime shall be disqualified from being elected or appointed as a public officer for 10 years after the conviction. So that stands. 2 and 3, I don't think they are applicable in this situation. So that's also part of the sentence. Also on the sentence is an order by this court that sentences in all the counts shall then run consecutively. So they run consecutively. So you can sum up and you find the sentence that one needs to pay. I order that surety for accused persons are hereby discharged and any security deposited in court shall be released forthwith. Similarly, any cash bail deposited in court shall also be released to the depositor. I also order that accused person's passport deposited in court shall also be released forthwith. I made a promise about the title deeds, Governor, and I've ensured that I come with them so that I personally hand them over to you. You can confirm whether they are appropriate. You can give them for your self-custody. They are still exhibits, but you are keeping them on our behalf. If they be needed in any further proceedings, you can have a look at them with your counsel. If you confirm they are appropriate, you tell me. You can confirm whether they are okay. Kama ziko sawa sawa. Are they okay? They are okay. The power of attorney is something else that you may need because of the transfers. You may need it for Mahinda. No, she's the one who produced. But if she can request, we will. She can just make a letter. Who produced? Are you sure? Yeah. So you'll also need it. Okay, I can also order that for safe custody. Yes. Correct? Yes. Their exhibits, if there are any further proceedings they may be required, you will also give them. Okay. The power of attorney, you are able to tell me it is, then you can also get him. Yeah. Just a moment, I've not finished. Also, you can remind me the name of this lady. What's the name of the lady? Winnie Wangeshi Mahinda. Thank you, Governor. Winnie. Just a moment. Yeah. Yes.
No, the name of the lady who produced evidence and produced that was Elizabeth Mahinda.
Yeah, Elizabeth Mahinda.
Yes.
I issued. Okay. Elizabeth Mainda. But the production, you confirm it was produced by the first accused? Okay, we are just confirmed, there's no problem. Don't worry about it. So, Mr. Monda, we'd rather release those one for their safe custody. Let them keep them. If there are any further proceedings, he has them.
He must be told that he must have bail them.
Yes. Yes. Because I've indicated for safe custody.
Thank you.
For safe custody. There are still exhibits, we have marked them. But we don't have got a good place where we can keep them. Maybe some water may come and destroy them. Then we'll be in trouble and would have destroyed someone's property. And I promised. And that's why even I've taken the trouble to ensure that they are fetched and they are brought. About the passport, I'm also following on them so that you get the passports. I'll ensure that shortly you get the passport. I hope someone is still on it about the passports. Yes, just so that I conclude on the sentence. Then you can address me if there's an issue that you want.